Hey, it's Don with Job Interview Tools, and today I want to give you 7 things that you should always say or convey in a job interview. I mean, let's face it, job interviews make people feel nervous, and they really just bring out your anxiety. I mean, you might have one or more hiring managers sitting across from you, just peppering you with questions from every angle, just trying to lure you into their trap where, you say one wrong thing, and then they immediately cut you loose. I mean, that's not exactly how it goes. I mean, nor is that their intention, but that might be how you feel. That might be your interpretation. I mean, I know I felt that way. But the thing is, two can play that game. You see, employers ask these probing questions to get a feeling for how you would benefit their team and how you'd work under pressure. But they're looking for certain traits in candidates. And in this video, I'm going to reveal the 7 most common traits that employers are looking for in candidates and how you should respond to that and let them know that you possess those traits as well. Now, as I go through this, if I tell you to do something that isn't necessarily true for you, I don't mean for you to do it. I'll never tell you to lie. So you have to take this information that I'm sharing with you in a way that you can apply it to your own situation so that you come across as honest and truthful. And by the end of this video, I mean, you're just going to be armed with these 7 new tools that are going to help you knock your next interview out of the park. So we're going to do these in reverse order. Number 7, you play nicely with other people. You see, teamwork makes the dream work, as they say. Even if you're an individual contributor, you'll need to interact with other people in the company. I mean, to get your job done. That's just the way it works. And that requires teamwork and the ability to adapt to varying personalities because there's all kinds of different people in the workforce. So you want to be prepared with examples of how you contributed to the teams in your last job. So that means you need to have examples from multiple jobs that you've held, if possible. I mean, if you don't, that's okay. And if you don't have a work history demonstrating this ability, think outside the box. Think about volunteer work, organizations, or maybe even, you planned your family reunion or a wedding. All those things can show how well you worked in a team setting, okay? Number 6. Your experience needs to line up. And what I mean by that is the experience on your resume is consistent from job to job, and it's aligned with the job that you're applying to. So even if you're transitioning industries, you can show that your skill set is aligned with the interviewer's needs, essentially showing transferable skills. And you want to make sure that you've read and reread the job description before heading into the interview so that you can focus on the portions of your work history that is the most related to the requirements for the job. You see, it's your job to prove your worth during the interview. I mean, you need to sell yourself. I mean, you need to show them why they should hire you. So don't be shy when sharing your past successes, from your last jobs. Okay? Next up, number 5, be excited, be enthusiastic, but not because you want the job, but because you're excited about what this company is doing and where they're going. Be excited about joining their team to help them achieve their goals. Be excited about their journey. Not only, does it illustrate your passion for what they do, but it shows it shows them that you're like them. And when they realize that you're like them, they're much more likely to invite you into your team. Now, I mean, this is hard to fake. I mean, you'd have to be a pretty good actor to maintain your excitement about a job that you just couldn't care less about, for the entirety of an interview. I mean, one way to generate this excitement is to share stories. Tell a story about, why you decided to apply for the job. Not just, for the money, but because it means something to you. Their mission means something to you. I mean, perhaps it's a company you followed and you use their products. You've been a loyal customer for years, and the opportunity to collaborate with such, an inspirational company is just thrilling to you. And when you personalize your interest in that way, you're really making a stronger impact, and you're setting yourself apart from everybody else, because interviewers and people, they remember stories. That's how people remember you, from the stories that you share with them. If there's nothing interesting about you throughout the interview, you end up being forgettable. And I know you're not. And I know you have great stories to share. So get them out there. All right. Moving on to number 4. You plan to keep learning. You are a student for life. I mean, you might be applying for a specific job today, but is that job, going to have the same exact parameters, a year from now, or more? Unlikely. You see, many companies offer perks like tuition assistance or reimbursement to students in learning. And it's always going to be cheaper for a company to invest in training for its current employees rather than to outsource or hire new ones. So candidates who show a willingness to learn new skills or gain a better understanding of an industry are going to make great long-term employees, and those are the kind of people that employers like to hire. So put this narrative into motion, during your interview. Talk about continued learning by sharing your interest, in the industry, specific publications, blogs, or other companies that you keep tabs on so they can see that, you're always in the know. All right? Moving on to number 3, you know and understand the company that you're interviewing with. Platforms like LinkedIn, Indeed, Monster, make finding jobs listings or jobs, just practically effortless. I mean, they've also streamlined the application process, and with one click, you can apply to 500 jobs or 500 companies at once. And I mean, this is both good and bad. But, if you get a call from one of those 500 companies that you apply to, I mean, what are the chances that you're going to remember anything specific about the job? I mean, this is just one way employers are going to weed out candidates simply by figuring out who's done their homework and who hasn't. Now, personally, I am not a fan of applying to 500 jobs at once because it's unlikely that, any of them are going to call me. And I doubt that I'm even qualified for 500 jobs. So this is why I will only apply to a few jobs at a time. But these are jobs I know that I'm perfect for. I know in my heart I'm perfect for. And I'll do my research on each one of them in depth so that I know and I truly understand the company and their needs. I mean, I might check out their LinkedIn page, their website, any blogs, press releases, white papers they've written, social media, anything I can do to learn more about them. And you'll learn important information about the company's mission, their values, their culture. And, you'll also want to brush up on, some industry terms that might pop up into the interview. So the more you know about the company, the more relevant you're going to be. And that's why I suggest only applying to a select number of jobs at a time. That way you understand who you're applying to instead of just, blasting off 500 resumes, because you're never going to know what all those companies are like. But after doing a little bit of digging, you might not even be sold on the company. I mean, you might do some research and you'd be like, yeah, I don't know if I really want to work there or not. But you see, the more jobs you apply to, the more jobs that you're going to get rejected from. And without even getting the interview. And what this does is this kind of wears on your self-esteem. And so after applying to those 500 jobs, without a single response, you're probably going to feel a little reluctant to applying again. I mean, who needs all this rejection? So it kind of wears you down. So that's why I suggest, you only want to apply to a few jobs at a time and learn about them. But, only the ones that you're perfect for, because those are the ones that are most likely to lead to an interview. Okay, let's move on to number 2. You need to see a future with the company that you're interviewing with. And the interviewer needs to know this. I mean, you might not know during an interview if you want to spend the rest of your days, your life, working for them. But you can probably say that you see a long-term and rewarding career with them. I mean, that's fair game. But from the employer's perspective, they're hiring new talent and they're dealing with turnover, all that costs them a lot of money. So if you can communicate that you plan to stick around for a while and, work up the company's ladder, that's going to make you a much more enticing candidate to them. And additionally, demonstrating that you're invested in the company and your future is going to allow an employer to feel good about investing in you. All right. And finally, number 1, show them you can hit the ground running. I love this. I mean, no one expects a brand new employee to be able to fulfill every aspect of their new position. But at the same time, an employer needs to understand how you're going to benefit the company, how you're going to be able to solve their problems, how you're going to be able to help them grow, or whatever it is. So when I interviewed for jobs, one thing I always did was I explained what I would do in my first few weeks, and I mapped it out for them. But I did this knowing exactly what their needs were, what their pain points were. Then I could paint a picture for them and say, well, Mr. Employer, if you brought me on, I would be able to hit the ground running on day one, because I'm already skilled in the areas that you need help with, and I don't need any training before my starting job or starting date, And then, then I might even ask for the job at that point and say, so do I have the job? Now, you can only say that if you're at the right point in the interview. But just telling them that you're able to hit the ground running is fair game, and you can probably close with that in any job interview, and just letting them know that you're not going to need 2 or 3 weeks worth of training, that you're ready to go on day one, and that's going to kind of separate you from your competition. But to close and say, so can I have the job? Your timing has to be perfect, or you're really just going to fall flat. I made another video on that topic a while back about how to ask for the job, and I'll put a link for that in the description for you. It's really a good watch, and it's really made a big difference for some people. Now, it's one thing to train yourself to say or do all 7 of these things during an interview, but you also have to mean them. Hiring managers will see through your insincerity before you even finish your thought. So if you plan to use any of these strategies, make sure you've internalized these responses and approaches, and you'll definitely outperform your competition in any job interview, and you'll go a lot farther in the process. All right, my friend, that is all I have for you. But while you're still here, I have a free gift for you. This is the top 10 answers to the top 10 most common questions. This is a great little book. It's free. My gift to you. You can download it from jobinterviewtools.com/top10. And this is going to show you how to answer some of the more common questions. And throughout that video, I mentioned a lot of the things that you should bring into the interview as far as things you should say and stuff. To take that one step farther, take those ideas and incorporate them into your answers into your interview. And that's really going to just kind of button up every edge of the interview, and you're gonna ace that interview hands down. It doesn't mean they're gonna hire you, but you're definitely gonna do well, and you're going to rank in the top 2 candidates of their process. So again, free download here, jobinterviewtools.com/top10. My gift to you, just because you're here watching me. And if you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up. I would appreciate it. And let me know how your interview went. Let me know if you applied any of these strategies in your interview, even if you just, picked one of those 7 things that I talked about. Let me know how it went. Let me know if you got any feedback from the interviewer on it. Let me know if you bombed. I'd love to hear it. So that's all I have for you. If you want to get notified every time I release a new video, please subscribe to my channel. And that's all I got for you. Good luck on your interview, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye now.